Hi, I'd like to welcome you to CrossTalk at New Horizon Christian Fellowship. This is a weekly post that we place online to weigh in on topics that are going to be spoken of on the following Sunday. So what we do at our church is we have our CrossTalk, and there's several questions that pertain to the text that will be spoken of in the week to come, so that we can study that word, and when I get up to speak on Sunday, you'll be more familiar with what's going on. What we want to do is begin to include our family and friends in that discussion, and you can weigh in as you place your comments in the text below, in the block below. But what we ask is that you be kind in your post, even though you may disagree with someone who may have posted before you, or even disagree with the guest speakers that I have that come in to share with us. And I just want you to be kind, though. Be respectful. Be tasteful in your comments. And let's stay true to Scripture. Let's not go too far off in what we believe or what we think, but let's stay true to Scripture. Today I have with me Robert Puzer, and he is one of our young up-and-coming ministers here at the church, and God is grooming him and growing him, and he's used him in many ways. He's working on developing our discipleship program here, our one-on-one discipleship program. So today we're going to be talking about Romans chapter 14, and we're going to be going through some of our crosstalk questions. So when it comes to people in the faith, and they may come in, because oftentimes when we look at the church, matter of fact, Lecrae has a song called Church Clothes, and he's speaking from the perspective of a person who is not saved, looking in at the church and saying, look at all the stuff that they do in the church. Look at all the things that they do. Look at all of the hypocrisy and the way that they tell us to dress this way and speak this way. But look at the things that they do. And many people out there, they use that as a reason not to come to church. So they come to church and they judge the church. So how should we respond to that?
It's deep there. In response to that, all of us believers that are in ministry, because that's normally what the non-believer sees as people in ministry, is we should really focus on walking the straight and narrow, and staying in our word to understand what it means to be a Christian. That way we don't give them any suggestions on how to disapprove of what we're doing and that we're not of Christ, because anybody that is new is going to find a way to make what they're coming to not seem right if they don't want it to be. So we've got to try our best to keep every focus away from us and on God.
Sometimes we have people that come into our church. I remember when you first came to the church. You got tattoos. I mean, you look nice and proper now, and you're in your suit with a nice tie and shirt on. But if you were to take off the jacket, we'd see all kinds of tattoos and everything, and eye piercings and nose piercings and things of that nature. When you came here, you were young in the faith, and you were growing in your faith. So you were one of the weaker brothers. You were still looking around trying to see what was right and what was not right. And so how are we to respond to those who are weak in the faith?
The same way that it was responded to me when I came here. As you said, I was tatted up, long hair, probably looked like a 70s hippie and a bum out on the street. But when I came to this church, I was shown nothing but love and acceptance, which would be the same thing Christ would have done to anybody that came to Him. And I believe that's what we need to do. We're all different in our own way, but we all should be loved as Christ loves everybody.
So as we're talking about those who are weak in the faith, what does it mean to you to be weak in the faith? What does that mean, a person who's weak in the faith? Is that a new believer? Is that an old believer? Is that who's weak in the faith?
Everybody can be weak in the faith. New believers are probably more prone to it more often, but even believers that have been in the faith for years, eventually something gets worn on them and they have a hard time with. So everybody can be weak in the faith, just to different levels, different circumstances.
A lot of times we see arguments in the church. We see people who argue in the church about what color carpets you should have. We see people argue in the church about the kind of clothes you should wear, the style of Christian music that we should play in the church, or what have you. Would you consider those essentials or non-essentials?
Non-essentials.
Why would you say that they were non-essential?
As long as the carpet doesn't matter if I'm going to go to heaven or not. As long as the music's gospel, it should be just fine. And if we'd all just serve, we wouldn't have time to argue about all this petty stuff.
Well, thank you so much for giving us your time, for spending some time with us today. Hopefully this post was probably only about 2 minutes or so as we weighed in on different questions each day. Thank you so much for being a part of our crosstalk. And I would like to invite you to come out to New Horizon Christian Fellowship. We're at 3718 8th Street, right here in the city of Meridian, Mississippi. And our services start at 11 o'clock, or you can join us on Wednesdays at 6:30 here at the church, where we have our Bible study as well. Our crosstalk, where we actually discuss all of these issues prior to service, starts at 10 o'clock on Sundays. Every Sunday at 10 o'clock down in our brook, it's our fellowship hall, we deal with these crosstalk questions, and on Sunday mornings at 11. I also like to invite you out to our Saturday service, which is for young adults. It doesn't matter what church you belong to. You come out and you'll hear people like JQ, who you may have heard on another post, or Robert, or some of the other young people who get up and they just kind of share. You might have a poem or something that you would like to share, a testimony, and you're free to come out to our Real Talk session on Saturdays at 5 o'clock on Saturdays, and it's right here at the church, 3718 8th Street. God bless you. Great to be with you. Thank you so much, Robert, for being here. Appreciate it. God bless you.